Mm-hmm. And in that, Elric is partially correct. Eden Risley is an anointed knight, as Elric, but he takes it a little more seriously, accepting the wisdom of the gods, and generally being as good of a knight as he can. He will say that often his poetry has shamed him, as he does not live up to the standards that he would expect from other knights such as himself. But he shall do the utmost to teach Bree what he knows of such a refined art that men can use their entire lives to pursue without ever reaching mastership in it. The word can be as strong as the sword, of course. Uh, he generally speaks in his poetry like sort of a Shakespearean way. He isn't that great at it, but he really, really tries hard. Many metaphors that don't really make sense and are just sort of drawn out and slightly perhaps awkward, but it makes it sound okay. Sort of when rambled out in one long stream. Hopefully, perhaps whoever is listening isn't really listening. It is mostly about comparing the lady in question to different beautiful things, fragrance like the sun. The sun doesn't really smell like much, but it sounds nice when he says it. Uh, there is absolutely no lewdness in any of what he says. However, it is as chaste as can be. Uh,
In that case, Bree is primarily confused, but she does her part to absorb as many words as Eden Risley says because she doesn't know poetry.
mhm.
like she like knows bits from like when she was told to study, but like her knowledge does not encompass like a great deal of poetry.
He does also, like whenever he does something, say that this is something that he considered after reading the great work on the Dragon Knight, and how he spoke when he encountered the Lady of the Lady of Storms. In Storm's End, and how he attempted to bring a smile to her lips after her husband died, and he like speaks some lines that sound very fancy. Maybe he doesn't entirely understand them himself, but he at least done the effort to learn them by heart. Uh, these very very inspirational things. Not really love poetry as much as sort of inspirational or teaching a knight how to be a good knight, that sort of thing. But he tries to apply it nonetheless, and well, what would poetry writing be as a skill? Let's see here. I think knowledge education could work.
Yeah, like that would be the most likely, which is why Bree was looking to ask other people so that she
Yeah,
could just like recite it. If this is what they
language would make sense as well,
ah
as
yeah, I
that is
suppose that
something. Yeah, that might
because
even make more sense, honestly.
because you have a like a familiarity with it, you can like string it
You know all the
together.
fancy words
Hmm.
and can use it. Uh,
So how good is Eden Risley at poetry then? If you were to follow
he's
that
good enough to
logic,
give you a +2 when he assists.
okay.
Of course, you won't have to roll it right now, and let's just see here. He is not a teacher, but we'll see if he can actually successfully teach you something anyway. All right, we'll just borrow something from this over here. With that, he's actually pretty good at teaching poetry, as it turns out. He'll give you 2 bonus dice when you do your reciting.
Fantastic.
2 bonus dice and a +2. That's not bad.
And that's how the time is spent. For a few hours until, well, it is sort of become a little bit evening. People are relaxing and such when a guard shows up and basically bluntly asks if you're ready for your purpose. Like, you should have enough time to have rested and eaten by now.
Then we would answer in the affirmative, yes?
Yes, of course. We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Ashra looks awkwardly to Bree and says, Page, please follow this man and recite the poem to Lady Riesling. Yes.
Of course, Sir Raven.
He smiles to the officer. Doesn't smile back.
I feel like I've spoken with his brother before.
And maybe his uncle? I don't know.
Some people are important enough not to just be a helmet, but not important enough to not be clones. So that's
Put it on me.
there's only so many pictures on the internet, as it turns out.
I mean, story
Cool, poppycock.
Yes,
In
I
this
am the
game, that
only
actually becomes a problem, guys.
one. I am the only one who gets to go to the important people place. That speaks about the value of my character.
Mm-hmm.
You do get to go to the important people place, and what it basically looks like is a long tunnel at first, with a torch here and there. Just sort of walking. It's gloomy, dark in here. Lots of echo. And you just sort of continue walking and walking and walking. There's the occasional like side branch where you see like rooms and doors and turns and such. But it seems that for a long way there's just this straight path that then turns into, in the side, basically have some stairways that sort of circle down in spiral shapes. Probably dug after the fact when it was all refurbished, but this path here is just long winding and then like turns into a big square. Probably the way they used to actually bring cargo out of this place.
I would understand that she wouldn't. Bree is too busy trying to remember poetry while also trying to remember where she's going.
Hopefully she'll have a try to get to check where she's going when she gets out of here.
Yes.
As she basically gets to be so lucky, yes, to be brought further down to like the fourth level, presumably from the stairs. Though it is very difficult to tell at this point. Into what is basically a set of very sparsely sort of decorated halls with lots of little doors here. The doors here are more reinforced than they have been for many other places. Though the place under here, really, it is confusing. Like, it is difficult to know where she's going. So everything just kind of looks the same. They clearly haven't really like taken this mine and then made it super pretty. They've just kind of smoothed the walls and smoothed the floor and smoothed the ceiling and then stuck some torches here and there. And that's almost all of it. She does feel like a little bit of a breeze, and she can see it in the flames sometimes, as they seem to have created some sort of airflow in here to not all suffocate. Which might help in showing a way out. She certainly felt the breeze push against her in the long hallway, suggesting that the wind goes sort of the way out is to follow the flow of the wind. Presumably there might be another way in where the wind comes in, but she hasn't really seen that one, at least. Must be a lot of people standing there blowing. So get it like that.
And Bree is not up for trying to ask any questions or wheedle information out of this guy. She's too busy thinking about other things.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to really be ready for that either, as he goes here, goes in here, closes the door, and pushes it open. to reveal a very sparsely sort of a room that doesn't have nearly or at all enough furniture to be expected to sort of to really house someone of noble birth. The room is very Spartan. There's basically a bed and some light and like a nightstand table. Uh, it also seems like there's like a thing, a round, big wooden thing that you could bathe in. The word is escaping me right now. So he'll basically step in, sort of tap the wall a few times, leaving out thumps with his metal glove. He says, "My lady, there's a guest." She sort of blares her eyes and looks up. The light in here was already sort of burning. Perhaps she's not allowed to turn it off or something, but she was just sort of sitting on the bed, presumably just looking at the wall. As she looks, her eyes are. I mean, she's a pretty woman generally. She's not really that old, maybe 18 or 19, sort of late teens anyway, early 20s perhaps. She's dressed sort of all right, in sort of a white gown, not unlike what Bree was wearing when she was sort of a prisoner. Her eyes, however, are bloodshot, and she has sort of a little bit of a droopy lip right now, suggesting that she hasn't been sleeping well, or that she's like not completely mentally okay right now. As she just sort of looks over at Bree and looks up and down and stands on slightly shaky legs, moving forward a little bit, looking down at her.
Bree looks back at the officer, like the page playing off basically like a holy fuck, I didn't know she looked like this look.
He just sort of looks at Bree, sort of with a bored expression of get to it. As he says, "You'll have 15 minutes." As she'll go and lock the door, and presumably go and do something else out there.
Bree looks away from the door back to the woman. My Lord Lannister bade me come here to deliver fond poetry to you in the hopes that it would win your good graces.
She, her sort of slightly puzzled look turns into a frown as she says, "You can tell your Lord of Lannister that he can take his poetry and then shove it up his Castamere."
Does Bree get that? No.
She,
Bree says,
quote me on that, please.
I will do so, my lady. However, I have been commanded to deliver his words to you, and so I shall.
She sort of throws her hands slightly in the air and goes to sit on the edge of the bed. Get to it, then.
Bree is also trying to stick poetry up your Castamere. As Bree will begin cobbling together the words and phrases that Sir Eden Risley taught her in a way to... Well, she doesn't really care about this woman, but she wants to at least play the part that she's been assigned, which is deliver this stupid poetry. And Bree thinks maybe she could ask the woman something, but Bree also takes a look at her, and Bree's totally hypocritical in judging someone by appearances. She doesn't look like she's gonna be useful. Tell me all about the Longthorn? No. Bree doesn't even know who she is. I'm not even gonna make a skill roll for that. Bree doesn't know who she is. Yes, Bree will attempt to convey those words and insightful phrases, undoubtedly from wonderful books.
Do your all.
All right. No, Bree doesn't care enough to use her fucking blood of the Andals here. Go ahead and do my language roll with all the wonderful things. Well, the bonus dice helped there.
Not terrible. Even for someone who's not really trained at it. As Bree goes on, basically, taking like 5 minutes or so to blabber on until she probably feels like she's lost the momentum, and then tries to put a nice ending on it. She manages all right. It's not terrible. Maybe she even a little surprised herself.
Right. Bree didn't think she remembered that much. It all seemed nonsensical to her.
Maybe she couldn't do it as well again, but her sort of smiles slightly as it's being said, as she finishes over and looks over and says, so who did he get to make that?
Bree plays the part of the dumbfounded page, stammering, my lady?
She sort of does you can't tell me he actually tried to do that himself. He has done that twice before, and it has always been absolutely horrendous. This was, she looks and says, frowns slightly, wrinkles her nose and says, passable and filled with words that I am more used to from home than from here. Would you believe one time he added a phrase that suggested that he might pay me? Just looking, frowning.
Bree looks horrified. And that's actually truth, although probably for different reasons.
How wonderfully romantic, his fine Lannister thought. She just shakes her head. What's your name?
This is... Oh, fuck it. She's lost her. Briggs fucking lost it. My name is Brienne of House Caladan.
Frowns. Well, what are you doing here, Brienne of House Caladan?
Delivering poetry to you.
Says, well, it better not actually be from Lannisters. I haven't had much news down here, but hopefully the war hasn't gone so bad. I was pretty sure you would be on our side. Unless they captured you as well.
Bree says, not quite. I'm here to rescue my lord's lord.
He sort of seems slightly amused. Oh, Leo, yeah.
Yeah. That's why. And part of the way for us to get here was for me to go through everything I just did. No. As far as I'm aware, he could never be as competent, my lady.
She nods, satisfied with that answer, and says, well, I don't think there's much I can do here except to plead for you to take me with you as well. I won't slow you down, I promise. Just, I've had enough of this place. It's honestly driving me a little bit mad. It's just no visitors, just food.
Bree says, well, it's not my decision to make, as I am not the leader of this expedition, but if you actually know or have an idea where Leo is being kept, then I can refer that to Sir Ashford Tyrell, and he, as far as I understand, loves the ladies. Bree, looks towards the light, and I do not see how rescuing you could be refused.
and says, very well. She sort of says, you're a little wonder, Bree, aren't you? She then looks around. Well, you'll be back anytime soon, so she sort of sits on her bed, puts her hand on her forehead, and leans back a little bit, saying, "Oh, such words are too much for a lady like me to hear. I simply cannot wait to see the dear Lord Lannister again. Woe it me, woe it me," sort of says very loudly.
Bree is speechless.
Now you must rather leave in a hurry, or I shall simply be unable to hold myself from attempting to escape through the door whence it's opened. For my unladylike need to see this man.
Bree goes to her side of the door and begins knocking.
Officer goes to open it. Looks in.
The little a panic looking.
Sort of nods for her to leave.
Yep.
For him to leave. He knows it.
Yes.
She goes to look in and say, he doesn't actually say anything. He just looks in, frowns, locks the door, goes. Basically begins to fastly walk. If he's too slow, he'll grab her arm and sort of pull her forcefully with him.
Bree won't be too slow. That kind of panicked her a little.
What was
Bree's not, she's seen crazy before. She had a dad once, so, Too sensitive? Too soon?
God.
This Bree, she's walking with speed. She doesn't know what the hell that was. Doesn't know what stick it, shove it up your Halldamir means.
It's a confusing
Eventually,
background.
she'll be pushed in. One says, took longer than expected. I'll be reporting that. And then closes the door and leaves Bree to stand there. Everyone sort of looking up from whatever they were doing in their cots, just sort of relaxing, probably. Someone sitting there, tapping their foot really rapidly on the floor, just waiting, painstakingly hoping this is going to be all right.
Bree, being the child that she is, has not lost her slightly panicked look. Her brows are deeply furrowed and her eyes are slightly widened.
Dorian looks to her and say, "So how'd it go?"
I suppose I can say this to all of you, and maybe one of you will understand. And Bree looks over to Eden Risling across the room and says, "The lady Sarah Risling told me to, thinking that the poem was from Lord Lannister, to take the poem and shove it up his Halldamir."
Alaric just bursts into laughter.
Manson looks and says, "Ha!" As Eden Risley basically reddens a little bit and says, "I did my best."
Alaric's basically trying to hold himself together.
Dorian doesn't find it funny at all.
She liked it once she learned that it wasn't from Lord Lannister, but she said that. Wasn't sure what it meant. She looks over to Alaric and then Manser.
That is good. You
Alaric,
feel the worst when you have a cousin like you do. Looks to Alaric, judging slightly.
Alaric kind of calms down and says, wait. When she found out that it wasn't from a Lannister?
She liked it more whenever she learned that it was not from a Lannister. She seems to have had some prior negative association with him.
Ashra nods knowingly.
She has also, perhaps assuming that I wasn't there on his behalf because the Lord Lannister has never delivered such good poetry before, presumed that I might be here for something else. And looking over at Sir Eden Risley again, oh my god, yeah, she'll do this, because Bree's deceptive like this, has asked that the one who crafted such rescue her from her imprisonment.
He nods gravely and says, it shall be done.
I know where she is kept. She did not know where the Longthorn was, but he most certainly is here. I know where the cells are that she was, but I do not know whether they would keep him there.
Ashra looks on and says, perhaps we'll have to just hope.
And I had no freedom to look around on my own. My escort was very he was very aware.
Dorian looks on and says, yes, it is surprising that they would have suspicions. Still not finding any of it funny. And then speaking in a heavily sarcastic voice.
I guess Alaric will just say, well, I guess we're just going to have to go cell by cell. Kind of frowns at that.
Unless someone else could get in there and take a look.
How did the guard open the door? And how did he open the door, Manikai?
He went there, put a key in the lock, turned the key, and pushed the door inwards.
Okay.
Important key.
Yeah, key.
Bree says, the guard who escorted me, and I imagine others, may have keys for those cells. If anyone could somehow get a hold of that, someone who was not a mere simple page delivering poetry, but were a respected man of considerable prowess and skill, then
Circumstances, I suppose I will. Must be me.
Alaric just grins.
I could try to, but it would be best if it were someone else.
Sir Raven is a dashing young knight. I see no reason why he shouldn't be allowed to speak to prisoners. Thanks to Alaric.
I
And
mean,
gives a desperate look over to like Bree, then over to Keegan.
Ren looks at Bree, and Bree just gives a shrug, like.
I mean, I for one wouldn't let any old hedge knight go anywhere near any of my prisoners, especially if they barely believe us, if at all believe us.
So it's just, if they didn't, then they would have surely taken us out by now.
They probably think we're not brave enough to do what we plan to do.
Right, he seems insulted by that notion. Says, oh, maybe they're not brave enough to stop us.
I mean, we can hope.
Manser sort of nods.
They have an entire castle.
Yeah, we're
None have come here yet. Have to bring food.
you can try, but I'm worried that if it goes sour, we're just gonna have to try and rescue you again. Like we're gonna have to rescue
Rescue me
you
again?
and not again. I mean, we're gonna have to rescue you.
One time, and you will not bring that up here.
Okay. Okay. We'll have to rescue you, and I mean we've already got to rescue whoever this lady is, and we have to rescue Leo, Everin, and then still make our way out of. Well, he kind of gestures around a fort in a sense. It's
Yeah. One thing at a time, huh?
yeah.
So keys to enter this place could be a problem, I suppose.
I'm sure there'll be an officer on the way there that if we all walk in there, there's going to be an officer to stop us. One can't stop us all.
Otherwise, we would have to do it loudly to bust open the heavy door, or attempt to use trickery to open the door without having the key.
Was there like did he open the large door with a key, or was it just like a push? Like the main door to the important people place?
No, that was just pushed.
Yeah. Okay.
People go in and out of there all the time. Miners and all sorts of unimportant people too.
As a warning, though, the cells, at least the ones where Sarah Reisling were kept, are some distance away from the entrance. It appears to be vast down there.
Some say that 9/10 of this place is underground.
What?
Lots of it are underground,
Oh, I would believe that.
carved out of the mines. Very defendable.
So someone says, just think of the room they must have down there where, well, all the gold that they must have gotten from digging out the 9/10. If we could find that room, we'd be rich. Not slowly.
I think
It is my destiny to take this gold.
I think if we can get out of here alive with Leo, then we're gonna be rich. So I think we're fine.
Asher
Either way.
frowns. He won't be rich.
He is rich. He's a Tyrell.
He'll be richer.
That's right. He'll be richer in having saved Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our only real way is to make a distraction for the guards below us to get out of our way and get into the mines.
If we just do this around at the time where they're fed, then perhaps we can just. I mean, they must open the door to deliver the food. No.
Yeah, I guess.
Fill baths, empty chamber pots, that sort of thing.
Alright, Alaric nods, yeah, I suppose.
So if we could just punch a servant, he sort of gives a half smile. Then that would be easier, I suppose.
Alaric nods and says, I don't even think we'll need to punch a servant for him to give up his key.
The question then is, how do we get in there in the first place?
The only real way to get out of here, I'd imagine, is I I'd imagine with a distraction, like the amount of guards in the barracks alone would question why we just got up and left.
So, when should we do it then? Menzelego sort of breaks in. Tonight, yeah. Just smash some heads together.
Tonight, when they try to sleep, hopefully we'll catch anyone by surprise and perhaps ill-equipped. It will make our progress easier.
Weren't you hoping to have Kevin create the distraction?
Alaric nods and says, I'm sure he can sneak his way out. Alaric looks at him very sternly. Like,
Drag you back in.
like you should do your duty.
Being shy, not liking that the whole pressure's on him, but do his best.
Keenan perfectly knows Ren won't attempt this. We're talking with fire here. He's not going to attempt this.
I mean, if there's an open shot from perhaps a window in the room, maybe we could have a flaming arrow soar across the sky and shoot the hay bales.
There is a.
No,
I don't know if
obviously
you
that's
noticed.
nice.
There's an old keep in the way.
That sounds like that's one hell of a destiny construction.
I mean, that's a way to know, for them to know at least where the fire came from.
Yeah.
A flaming arrow in the
true.
night soaring across the keep.
Wow, it's beautiful.
beautiful.
Someone
Oh,
at
God.
the third floor of the barracks shot a flaming arrow at the stage. Who could that be?
That's why you go to the second floor, then fire.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty confident it's that they look. We're already going to be facing a degree of suspicion, what with us being new arrivals, and this stable never burned down before, so
Yeah.
not suddenly producing a flaming arrow, I think would help.
Yeah, it definitely would.
Especially if an individual, an enterprising man who is not afraid of fire, perhaps like myself, or out there to help try to put out the flames. But no, I can't, because you guys will get lost down there without me.
Yeah.
No, it's just, I think I can do it.
Great. Settled.
Right?
Make sure that you don't. If he can set the flame, if he can just get a torch or just light a small fire on hay, then it's gonna light up pretty quickly. So he could probably get near the entrance of the important people place, or meet us around there maybe. So light it and run and hide behind a corner somewhere. And then as we come out from seeing the blaze of glory.
And if he fails, he's dead.
Yeah.
He finds us, he'll hide as best he can after that. Though with all the people on the walls, he'll
Yeah.
probably just try his best.
I don't see any easier way. Any suggestions?
Well-
people? I mean,
Look, this was the natural termination point. We would get to the crazy, insane complex where the Longthorn would be delivered, and we would be facing 2 to 4 times our number of dudes, if not more. This was the expected termination point, right? This is where it was gonna be.
We kind of realised this would be what we're facing, so.
yeah.
Yeah. Would be easier if we were free to walk around and stuff.
Well, perhaps if the conversations initially were more convincing,
Yep.
maybe they would be more trustworthy. But as it stands, no. They do not so believe the tales of Sir Raven and Sir Badger that they are highly tolerant. You know, they're suspicious enough to keep us, sequestered, but they're tolerant enough of like, okay, they could be. It is the stupid Lannister currently in charge of things, so.
And they don't have anything directly to say against, like directly to prove against us right now. So they will in a minute.
Yeah.
But